Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to start making gridded properties such as our structure and isopach maps and display those in our map window. Let's get started. So to make structure and isopach maps, we will need data such as our tops, our well headers, and optionally our deviations. So if you have not yet loaded these, please go review the video for doing that. So to generate our structure and isopach grids, we're going to use flows. To make a new flow, we can say File, New Flow, or we can right-click on our folder here and say New Flow. And I'm going to call this structure grid .flow. Now note that we could make our structure and isopach grids all in one flow, but I'm going to do this in separate flows. So I'm going to start off by hitting OK here. And we need to start off with a points input. And we're choosing these, in this points input, we're choosing our tops. So tops are points like data. So the points input tool handles that. Now our tops are, they're just tops associated with an API. They're not in, the proper XYZ space. So to handle that, we need to add a tops to TVD tool to our flow. And here we'll select our well headers and we will select our deviations. Now this is optional. If you have all vertical wells or you don't have your deviation surveys, you can skip this. But if you do have them, you should choose your processed deviations. These are the deviations we processed in a previous video for this flow. Next, we will add our tops to structure grid tool. And here we'll need to match the columns. So our input coordinates, those will be X, Y, and we will need to choose our column names for X and Y. We will tell it that it's using our project projection that we loaded in the previous video. We will stick with the Kriging method here for gridding. Now, once we have decided on that, the last thing that we need to consider is, are there any things like pinch outs or truncations? If so, you can use this per tops options to add those types of relationships. Now in this example data set, we do not have any of those, so we will leave it as is here. Next, we will, so this converts it into a grid for us. And we can just end with a grid output here. Okay, and so what this will do, just to review this flow, it will look at our tops. It will convert all of those to TVD space. It will then make our structure grids and write the grid output. Now, you'll notice here that I'm not specifying what top, and that's because it is doing it for all the tops that are available. You will also notice here that I don't specify the formation. The software will identify the correct ordering for your tops based on the data that's available. And then it will use that in a constrained fashion to grid these out. Now, in our previous videos, we created a few additional tops in here, such as the Lower Parkman and the L200, which are very sparsely picked. And I don't want to use those for the structure gridding here, so I'm going to filter those out. So I'm going to start off here by clicking New and Point Select. And then I'm going to move that Point Select up by clicking on the little 8 dots here. And I'm going to move it up so that's second in the flow. And I'm going to filter by formation. And then I will select the formations that I want to keep here. Now, order doesn't matter. It's mainly that I want to leave out the formations here that I do not wish to grid. So we can choose those formations. And it's going to create a new file here once we run this called structuregrid.grid. So I'm going to run that. And it is going to generate the top structure grid for each of these. Now I also want to make the associated isopachs with this. Now, to do that, I could create a new flow, or alternatively, I can make a copy of this flow, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to right-click on it, select Make a Copy, and I'm going to call this isopach grid.flow. And the reason I'm doing this is because it is a very similar process. We need to start off with a points input. We'll then use our point select to get to the formations of interest. We'll convert these using our tops to TVD tool and apply our deviations. The only difference here is in the tops to structure grid, for the output property, I'm going to select resolved Isopach. By choosing the resolved Isopach, that gives us the Isopach that represents the difference between the two grids in TVD space, and I need to change this to be named Isopach grid as the output. And once again, I will run this. Okay, now that we have now that we've ran this, we have our structure grids and our Isopach grids. And I'm going to come back here to my map, and I want to add that one of our structure grids here. So I'm going to click on the plus button. I'm now going to select to add a property, and I'm going to choose my structure grid, and I'm going to add the structure grid for the Niobrara formation. I'm going to use a color palette here, such as jet, and I'm going to add that. And now you'll see that we have a structure grid displayed here for the Niobrara formation. All right, that is where we are going to end this video. If you did want to add other grids, such as your Isopach grid in here, you can do that as well using the same method that we use to display the structure grid. In our next video, I'm going to show you how we can apply some more styling to this and display these grids in both 2D projection views and in 3D views. I'll see you in the next video.